Hey, yo, Pops, we betting on what you did before you got here.
I was a pip, like this.
Oh, don't do that right now. Don't do that. Oh, the spin?
Wait a minute.
Oh.
You can only really build a great character if you have an unbelievable actor. So, starting with Denzel, I mean, we've got one of the greatest working actors of all time.
I watched every Denzel Washington movie ever made. He's our most preeminent actor.
Denzel is someone who doesn't beat around the bush. He is, you know, cut and dry. He gets his job done, he does it right, but he's nice while he does it.
I'd see.
Denzel is very generous to his other actors.
I think it's brilliant to cast Denzel as Robert McCall. He really makes a great equalizer.
Who are you?
I don't know anybody that goes around calling themselves the something, but I don't worry about that. I just try to interpret the part, and I don't try to play the title.
Richard Wank wrote an unbelievable script, a script that Denzel Washington not only said yes to, but said, yes, and here's when I start. I mean, he gave us his slot. That just doesn't happen. He wanted to play Robert McCall.
I pick up the phone, and he says, Todd, and I said, yeah, and he goes, this is Robert McCall. And I started smiling, and he goes, I'm in. Call the studio, but let me call my agent first. And he hung up. That's the way it all started.
He's a human being. He's just not some action guy. You know, I wasn't interested in that. I mean, who is he? What makes him tick? What are his flaws? What's he overcoming? You know, he's got his OCD issues, and, you know, he's just trying to do better.
With an actor like Denzel, you don't want to rush because he brings so many little nuances and details to a character, like the OCD, things that you can't rush through that.
His process was to sit at my desk for 2 hours every day and go through the script line by line. And he always carried the first draft that he got a year earlier. Make sure that all the things that appealed to him in that draft stayed in. And we did it for 2 weeks straight until it was locked. I think silence is a big part of the whole script. He's not a talker, he's a listener. He can say so much without saying anything. He said, I don't need to say that. I can play that. So I was conscious of that while writing all of his scenes, and even the scenes where he has to talk.
You right?
All the dialogue I would cut out before he even read it. There were still a few more, and he was always right about it. And watching him do it, it's like a writing lesson.
Move the camera over more. It's a hard thing to explain, but it's like I'm always constantly telling the cameraman sometime, don't turn the camera off. You know, because I'm watching the monitor and he's already there in his world doing what he does, and he's brilliant at it. The trick is recognizing it and also knowing when to just let the camera roll. Don't stop it, because he is unpredictable in the best way possible, because he's really there. And it's like you're just almost a fly on the wall at times to capture it. And you just have to be smart enough to know when to continue.
Bob.
It's interesting working with someone like that and kind of picking up on what he sees and seeing a set through his eyes and how he conducts himself on set. He's taken his time to speak to me and to get to know me and for me to know him, to where we have this chemistry together. So it's interesting to kind of actually build our characters' relationship while building our relationship as people. It helps a lot.
You think you know me? You strike me as a sentimental man, Mr. McCall.
The whole thing with Denzel has been very enjoyable. He's very focused, very much about the work, very concentrated. He knows his craft, and is very helpful in that he maintains his own space, his own way of doing things very strongly, more than anyone else I've worked with, and I really appreciated that.
You did it to this badge, Frank. You disrespected this badge. You understand me?
All right, I got fucking nothing.
You're right. You got nothing. You're exactly right.
When we're playing scenes together, we're just two actors and we're trying to figure it out together. And like we're trying to figure out what the meat of the scene is and what we're doing, and he's like right there with you trying to do that stuff. And that's what I love. I love when big stars who don't really need to be generous for any particular reason just are, because they love acting.
If you've come for my help, I can't give you any.
I understand.
Do you?
Just came for tea.
I come to work to create a character and be a part of a story. And one of the great pleasures for me of working with Denzel is he seems to be on that page as well.
I know a part of you died when Vivian did, but not the part she loved the most.
You use what you have and you make up the rest of it.
You had a nice funeral, in case you were wondering. It's a pleasure to work with him. He's an actor I've admired for a long time, and being on the set with him and doing these scenes together, there's been a good exchange about what the scenes are about, and then there's the frank moments of just, here we are, working away and looking out for each other and trying to get the best job done.
Someone once told me I could be whoever I wanted to be.
Body, mind.
Spirit. That's what says most about a person, is how they treat people who they're working opposite.
That's what we do, Mr. McCall.
We who?
We find people we need to find.
We who?
You can have a brilliant script, you can have a lousy script, but it's the company you keep that makes the difference.
Sometimes I could just see when he's about to make a turn and do something.
He says more with less than any actor working today.
The camera can just be close on him, and there's a million stories to tell. It depends what you, the viewer, are going to put onto it.
You know, I don't know. I don't look at it too much from the outside. I'm just dealing with it from the inside out. So I'll be curious to see how people respond and or relate to it.